My name is Lori Kilpatrick, and I'm running for LD 14 Senate. It was the fall of my sophomore year, 1981. My mother had spent the day in town, so instead of riding the bus, she picked me up and we went to buy groceries before going home. I can still remember most of that afternoon pretty clearly. The girl at the register was a schoolmate of mine, and I can remember her looking at me and then very quickly looking back down when my mom handed her the food stamps to pay for the groceries. My mom had spent that morning applying for welfare. It was probably one of the most humiliating days of my life. I was very embarrassed. I can remember my mom looking at me, and she knew my embarrassment, and she just mouthed she was sorry. She swallowed and checked some of her pride that day as well, so that she could feed her family. Unfortunately, the mindset of poverty is a hard concept to grow out of. We see that fact in what I like to call welfare lifestyles. They know nothing else. It's become their safety box. I faltered and stumbled some. I made many choices that were less than perfect, but I continued to learn and grow. And at every learning point, I pulled myself up on my roots to stand back up again. I learned the meaning of fiscal conservative values. Conservative values are about being grown up, making hard choices. It's about taking responsibility, living through the consequences and actions, adjusting your course when you steer a little too far to the left, pun intended. My parents worked in the mills and factories most of their adult life. The factories closed and the jobs died. There was not work to be had for a long time. I've learned over the years that my parents were not the failure, but more so the failure of financial, political policies and politicians that couldn't get the job done. They steered too far to the left. The consequences were no jobs and dependency on the government. 1981 was also Reagan's first year, his first term in office, and I was at an age where I was absorbing for the first time the world around me, just like the young people in Florida, making their statements out of fear. They're trying to find answers, but they're scared. They want to be involved, and that is a good thing. They've just been taught untruths. They're misguided. Just like I was in 1981. I thought my parents were the ones at fault. I had to grow, get outside of myself to learn. These young people can still learn. They're open to learning. They want it. They crave it. They're the next generation of voters. We need to reach them, teach them, show them how to truly become empowered. The early 80s were tough in many ways. It takes a while to make change in government. Jobs do not come quickly to the poor and middle class once they leave. Which is probably why you see generation after generation clinging to the same old ways of doing things. We need new energy, new ideas based on the bedrock of family, God, and country. It took a while to see the industry pick back up again. It was a fight every day for President Reagan to correct the course of self-destruction our country was taking. That moment in history set the course for my understanding of the need to provide for oneself and family, the need for fiscal conservatism. It defined me. As so many little things that do and happen in a person's life, it creates who they are, what they believe, and how they will react. To grow and be successful, you've got to know who you are and where you come from. Sometimes you've got to get out of the box, out of your comfort zone that we create for ourselves that makes us feel safe and secure. You got to jump with 2 feet in order to make a change. You've got to walk through the fear. Because I know God will not bring us to something and not see us through it. We just have to want it, be open to learn and grow, and ready to act. Just like in the years of Reagan, we now have a president that is tackling government control, opening up the opportunity for job creation so that people can have pride again. We need to grab hold at all levels this chance to preserve and grow the hard-working middle class of America. It takes us all to build that dream, all citizens to make a country strong and prosperous. We must focus on what we want. We can no longer vote for a system that keeps its people searching for handouts. We want to make America great again. Then we need to use our power and our voice. Continue to make ourselves heard. Voting is our voice and power, and we must use it. The truth, hard truths, will set us free and make us successful. God will always help those who help themselves. Our Constitution guarantees that principle, and we the people must take control back and help ourselves. Government does not want us to be free. Government in and of itself wants power and control. It feeds off that premise and grows, making citizens dependent and slaves. Our founding fathers knew that and created a system with checks and balances to stop that kind of tyranny. We the people are those checks and balances. We are the only ones who can give up our rights. We're at a crossroads. We've come to the edge of our box now, and to continue forward and making things right, we've got to jump. We cannot stop or slow down. We are one nation under God. I am pro-life, pro-gun, and pro-American. Where I stand is firmly conservative. Individual rights, states over federal, always. Because I understand what it means to not have opportunity when government has too much power. But I also know what it means to have the opportunity to pull myself up and succeed when government steps out of the way. I know the feeling of strength and pride in a hard day's work and the heights that an individual can achieve from those efforts. I am living proof what the American dream can provide. I was poor. I was a woman in a man's world. But many women, strong women, showed me how to humble themselves and do what needed to get done. Do what they needed to do to get the job done. Many strong men, like my husband, have supported me, encouraged me, and helped me grow. All of them so that I can be here today. I am spending every day out there learning about the problems and issues with our community and our message. How governmental policies have been created to stagnate our growth and individual achievement. I'm learning from our teachers, our superintendents, our first responders, border security agents, police, sheriff, marshals, our local leaders, mayors, representatives, community organizers, our youth, and everyday citizens, how we can better help this community grow and prosper, how we can protect our rural communities. We can first start by untying the hands of our teachers through deregulation, putting more control back down in the citizens' hands and in the school board's hands within each district. Promote fair competition with charter, private, and public school systems. As a former teacher and wife of a teacher, education is front and foremost a personal mission of mine. I want to see more opportunities for rural students. I want to see students have the opportunity to achieve in vocational areas as well as the arts and academia paths. There are many honorable jobs that our young people should be exposed to learning about. Not all students are college bound or want college. We have high-paying jobs in our state that cannot be filled because we are not offering the vocational and apprenticeship opportunities that will train them. Most are not even aware they exist. As a former soldier, the wife of an Army soldier, the mother of an Army soldier and Navy veteran, I've stood a post. I've stood all around that damn post. I know what it means to be on the front line protecting our nation. Border security and our first responders' safety and needs will always be a major priority for me. Fort Huachuca and its preservation to our community is paramount. Without the security within our country, citizens will never be able to fully take advantage of opportunities to excel. They will always be afraid. One has to feel safe and secure to venture out and try new avenues, to break that cycle of poverty and control. To protect the values and goals of our rural life, of family and God, we must have representatives in office that will support our first responders with legislation that makes them and our citizens the priority, not the criminals. There's also another important right that must be protected at all costs, the Second Amendment. I am a card-carrying member of the NRA. I have a concealed weapons permit, and I carry. I am a full supporter of the right to bear arms with no limitations on our honest, hardworking, law-abiding citizens. I believe gun-free zones create victims. I believe an armed society creates protection from tyranny. An armed society will deter crime. An armed society creates confidence, creates citizens with courage, strength, desires, and dreams that they are not afraid to go after and achieve. As a citizen of this country, state, and district, I have a hope and a dream of wonderful things on our horizon, and what great, beautiful horizons rural southern Arizona has. I believe that truth will always find its way. Evil will try to conquer, but with the help of God and truth on our side, we cannot help but prevail if we fight. We accomplish this in our government by draining the swamp, or as I like to say here in Arizona, clean the bowl. Imagine, if you will, a government with conservative family-oriented intentions. We must start placing into office elected officials, not politicians. Certainly not career politicians. We must hold their feet to the fire, make them accountable. The way we achieve that is through transparency. Transparency will create accountability. And accountability will create responsibility. Responsibility creates solutions. And when our representatives are responsible again, they will find solutions. We, the people, have the chance to grab hold of our rights and be responsible for ourselves again. But we, the people, must take action and start electing from the bottom up those that are up to the challenge of protecting our rights and our Constitution. Those with the ethics and morals needed to stay the course, not veer left. We do not need representatives that have connections so that they can make deals behind the scenes. We need representatives that will vote for or against something because it is good and honest and will preserve our rights and protect our freedoms. Not someone who will cave on an issue just to make a possible deal with the devil later. Sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone and out of that box. Stop voting for the same person because they look the part or say the right things. We need to look at things in a new light. Stop holding on to baggage and move forward. Let go of what was in the past and fix from here. We are all individuals, unique, and have strengths. Together we can unite and be strong. All of us, men, women, young, old, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, we are all Americans. We are the past, the present, and the future. Let's not stop this fight midstream. Let's walk through the fear, the pain, and make this country stand tall and strong again. Because we can. We can do it together as a team, as Americans with God on our side, all things are possible. I'm asking you to jump with me to help me stand a post again. I want to represent this district and its people because I believe in our communities and our future. We have to do this together, and together we can find the solutions and succeed. My petition is in the back, and I'm asking for you to take a moment, and if you haven't already, please sign and help me get on the ballot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you very much. Madam Chair, before